Sup all, it's Dusttin. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game published by Capcom and is only 70% finished. But that 70% was absolutely worth it. Just like the $41 of DLC that is totally necessary to play the game. Set in a high fantasy world with turbo dismount physics, you play as a regular-ass dude who got his heart stolen by a sexy dragon. Now, we must find the courage to ask that Drake to prom. However, there are some issues with the story. The main one being that it's more boring than unleavened bread. Luckily, I found a way to combat this unrivaled boredom. It's called, I cast fucking METEOR. Alright, let's play the game. Oh sorry, I mean cook my fucking computer parts. Our quest follows Kevin Durant, if he was a few skin tones lighter. So the game begins with you stuck in the sand mines of Cameroon, and luckily my genetics are that of an Egyptian slave. Unfortunately for me, there appears to be a oh fuck. And right when I was having so much fucking fun. Welcome to the tutorial boss, Casey Tron edition. I basically gave her the full London experience. My favorite rides are the ones without health and safety regulations. Top of the morning to you laddies. Jack Thrower Guy here. Today, we have arisen in the land of Dogma. Dogma balls. And that means we'll have unlimited control over pawns. The term pawn is basically a slur to describe lobotomized slaves. Hence why my main pawn looks like this. I wonder why nobody wants to use him. The one guy that did gave him a fucking fish. Alas, as it turns out, we need 2 more pawns. And I was regrettably forced into supplementing with proprietary pawn blends. Routinely, you will find your pawns dying in egregious ways. And for some reason, it's always the fucking archer. Speaking of archers, there are 10 vocations, and a few of them are absolutely fucking bonkers. So, I'm going to explain the classes to you nice and slow, just like the warrior vocation. Any day now. The thief is unreservedly busted for mainly 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is the plunder skill, which if used correctly can net you oil and more oil, which is used for obvious reasons. Anyway, the second reason is a bit more exciting, as in we're going to create acts of terrorism by combining both Formless Fate and Blades of Pyre. You create a lore-accurate warrior of God. Sure, you can play Thief as a normal person by spamming light attacks or utilizing Skull Splitter, but honestly, I'm starting to understand why becoming a homicidal bomber is such a popular career choice. Fighters are the canonical tank class, and are inarguably one of the funniest vocations. Removing one's sword out of the equation turns you into a Ninja Turtle, literally. The phrase, spin to win, has never been more true. Some of the community have stated that fighters suck, in which I would respond with a krill issue. If you are not constantly aping towards the enemy, then you are doing something wrong. There is nothing quite like shield bashing a goblin and watching him fly more effectively than a bow and gent. Also, inarguably, fighters easily have the sickest drip, because we all know the endgame of Dragon's Dogma is just a Balenciaga fashion show. Alternatively, you could play as an archer, which gives a whole new meaning to the 2 in Dragon's Dogma. The best thing about archer is not playing it. It's a vocation that is best left for the pawns. In actuality, archers have some of the best utility in the game. However, I am too lazy to coat the enemy in oil and light a match. Instead, I prefer to play this class like an absolute brainlet. I'd like to think, through sheer amounts of arrows, I get my message across. Another viable option is chemical warfare. All it takes is a few well-used needles I found behind the Myrmecolion, and suddenly, half the humanoid populace is HIV positive. The best part about being an archer is freezing the enemy, causing permanent CC. It's like I'm playing chess and my opponent never got a turn. The last basic vocation is the Mage, and if I'm honest, there isn't much to say about it. One of the main criticisms of DD2 is how gimped the Mage class is. It's basically a glorified support class. However, I have a warning for you. If you decide to recruit a Mage pawn, make sure they don't have the skill High Frigor. If they do, good luck seeing literally anything. The only fun part about this vocation is, at night I can fuck with my epileptic viewers. Now, before we talk about advanced vocations, I would like to mention the story. It's not very good. The only story I could tell is the one about my dying YouTube channel. So, make sure to like this video and subscribe so I don't have to kill myself. The warrior fills the classic fantasy very well. As a warrior, you walk around barefoot, carry a giant-ass sword, and most importantly, don't partake in TSA pre-check. However, for what this class lacks in swing speed, it makes up for in being a human fucking guillotine. Unlike other games, there are no mounts that exist. If you are out of fairy stones, fucking tough luck, bud. You're gonna have to get through 10,000 hobgoblins just to get to an overpriced Midwestern, unless you're a warrior. The single most underrated aspect of this vocation is Goring Lunge. This shit will take you not to 60 in less than a second. Who needs fast travel when you are the fast travel? Sorcerers are mages on steroids. However, that doesn't mean I enjoy spellcasting. Personally, I think it's pussy shit to sit back and call in 8 kamikaze drones to kill one singular Cyclops. However, that doesn't stop me from doing it. The only downside of the strategy is this shit takes 10 years to fucking cast. So, we must employ other, quicker ways to enact in high fantasy war crimes. One of the ways is to deploy Thundermines, which turns Dragon's Dogma into a tower defense. If you want a more active approach, you can try cooking your enemies alive. If you want a less active approach, I'd recommend playing a Trickster. Honestly, Trickster is by far my favorite class. However, it's objectively trash. Some may tell you the best aspect of Trickster is buffing your pawns. Others may say it's because you can taunt with a spoopy ghost. However, the Trickster's main strength lies within his ability to farm cash fucking money. All you need is the whimsical daydream, and you're well on your way to earning hundreds of thousands of gold. All you have to do to obtain the infinite gold farming sensor is one of the Sphinx's riddles. One of said riddles wasted 4 hours of my fucking life, and it was all my fault. Oh my god! In the riddle of futility, the Sphinx gives you a quest to transport a Voss to Batal. So I painstakingly carried this Voss across steep waterfalls, fell off a cliff, fought a fucking dragon, had an overweight pawn break it, got charged by a METEOR, and eventually just broke it myself. And apparently the real solution was to fairy stone Surmerits to the fucking shrine. So yeah, I just killed the Sphinx. The last few vocations require a little bit of backstory, except Mystic Spearhand, which is arguably the goofiest shit in the entire fucking game. The class has the ability to literally yeet people across the map. Sadly, just like real life, you do not get any XP for skydiving malfunctions. Objectively, Spearhand is the best based on flavor alone. But that doesn't mean its best skill isn't boring as fuck. Would you rather A. launch a giant magic spear, B. use Shadow Clone Spear Jitsu, or C. teleport to an enemy and instantly provide backshots? The answer was D, me boy. You forgot about the SpongeBob fucking bubble shield. There are many broken skills that exist, and Mirror Shield bests all of them. Magic archers should be outlawed by the Geneva Convention. Your kit consists of many different arrow types, ranging from giant frozen ice cube to projectile xylazine. However, the best way to play Magic Archer is similar to that of a shoddy CSGO player. Just pre-fire every angle. Honestly, I have way too many clips of Ricochet Arrow. Don't ask me why, but it was basically the only skill I used as a Magic Archer, and I still hear the goblin scream. The final class in the game is less of a class and is rather an interpretive dance. The Warfarer is literally every vocation spliced into one. It's like the Arisen just gave up on his WoW character and decided to play Final Fantasy. You have many options as this vocation, and if you don't decide on a few, then you'll just end up with a brain hemorrhage. I decided to go for a bit of a Neapolitan approach, disregarding Pistachio entirely. The vanilla being Magic Archer, the chocolate as Mystic Spearhand, and the curdled blood as Thief. In tandem, this didn't really work. And as most players eventually realize, nothing is quite as overpowered as mashing Thief basic attack. By this point, you should have every vocation at level 10, which I totally do. So now I'm just gonna teleport to the end of the game. Oh, sorry. I meant, the real end of the game.
Arisen, you are about to learn the harsh truth of this world. You chose to ignore the plot, the very reason for your existence in this world, and for that you are no longer granted sanctity. Long past is the point of redemption. Now is the time for a fucking rapture.
Welcome to the Unmoored World, the Coors world. We've got bird dragons, we've got worm dragons, and we even have bad dragons. The Unmoored World is a lot like my toilet, full of blood. The first dragon in the pits of fucking hell was quite the experience. Basically, I became Dr. Pimple Popper, except every pimple I popped felt like removing a whole ass tumor. I'm also not even sure how something this disgusting exists. I don't even think Satan himself could love a face like that. Laios, no, you can't eat that fucking dragon. Next on our list of LED dregs, we've got a big-ass fucking worm. I didn't know Kendrick was talking about Dragon's Dogma. Honestly, at this point, I'm not surprised when these games add a colossal-sized worm. It's basically a staple of the genre. Please, guys, stop recommending me games with big floppy worms. I'm going to get a reputation here on YouTube as the world's first worm tuber. Overall, the snake drake was kinda cool. I even used him as a slip and slide. Luckily, there's no kids here. Otherwise, we might have seen a certified pedophile. Oh, Jesus fuck, man. Well, guess that'll be it for me. See you guys in another 6 months.